I'm super, super happy that we managed to pull this one off, because this was not planned. And we are working on this from a tiny little Vinnova budget that is funding basically one afternoon's maybe focus group. And we have exploded this into 6-day week. So there's nothing like a great ambition. And so on that note, just to sum up, I'm not going to go through all of this. You can just scan through it. It's too much anyway. I am asked how I do all this. I don't know. Last night I was talking to Lena Miranda, who is head of Linköping Science Park, who is an absolute powerhouse, and without whom this would not have been possible, as her team, like Ulrika and Christopher. Here, the reason why we can go so big is thanks to them. But I asked her, how do you do what you do? And she said, I don't know. So basically, here we are all doing a huge amount, and we don't know how that's happening. We are here to implement just the data practice. We try to implement use of data, collection of data, management of data that encourages the users, the owners, to be judicious, unbiased, safe and transparent. Of course, this has a huge impact on when we train then AI algorithms. So what we feed the beast is what will come out, and I think we need to be very, very conscious of that. It has a bit of a background, again, without going into too much detail. We proposed this idea by interviewing Swedish industry, as it so happens, particularly automotive, in 2020 for a study that we were asked to perform for the expansion of the European Open Science Cloud to industry, to communities, to others. And we were told that, or rather we discussed in discussions, like 43 interviews, we found that the idea of fair data, which many of you will be familiar with, about of data being findable, accessible, interoperable and reusable, is not really about fairness to people. It's about connecting systems. And we needed to counterpose fair data with a system like JUST that would encourage human responsibility, so responsible systems. And this was then taken up by the European Commission in recommendations for AI, in recommendations for ontologies and knowledge graphs, which is another whole area you will be hearing about today, and in the European Open Science Cloud SRIA, which is a strategic research and innovation agenda for the future. And I am happy to say that we are now funded as of January 25 to create the EOSC Innovation Center that will embed just data practice. So this has been a long journey. When you come up with a new concept like that, same as with FAIR. FAIR took several years to establish and to, in the case of FAIR, create a metric. In the case of JUST, we are not looking at a metric. We are looking at agreeing on a set of guidelines and also metadata, let's say top-level metadata at least, that we can agree on how to annotate data as we go along and what sort of practices we can embed. And of course, we need knowledge from all the different domains to understand how they work, so that this can be not just an optional or an add-on, but that we can really embed this into practice. Just to give you an idea that the European Commission highlighted this particular use case, maybe it's a little bit long for you to read now. I am also pleased to say that most of the people here who authored this white paper on intellectual property and industrial agreements for the European Commission were here either in GoCo or here, like here yesterday, or they are here now, like Ivo. And there are some interesting use cases like these that also may have impact on how we transfer knowledge through annotation from one clinical use case to another. Now, this is perhaps a bigger thing to discuss at some point. The nice thing that happened was that we went to Vinnova last year. We went, okay, this just data idea is being recommended at European level, but how does it work? I mean, it's okay to have an idea and say we should have this, but someone needs to do it. And so we went to Vinnova and we said, as part of avancerad digitalisering, and particularly these are our women in our huge event in Stockholm that we ran in 2018 with the KTH. And the reason why all of them are there is because at that point we put women at the forefront of technology prototyping, and we had over 800 people prototyping in Stockholm, and we asked to declare a gender out of 4 categories, and we had 53% that declared women themselves as women. So 53% of women in technology prototyping. We have that track record. We can take that into our agenda here because, of course, just data also means equality. It means social justice. We are implementing more social justice, more equality, and therefore it is also part of the avancerad digitalisering remit to have a better balance in industry. This was our lab in GoCo, Health Innovation City in Gothenburg, that we ran for 4 days, and you will see that some of the people from there are here today with us, and I'm really pleased about that because we went tentatively into the health sector. Our experience with health is only from the accessibility, work with accessibility and enablement of people with disability, various types of disabilities. We have been building technology systems that have completely subverted ideas of who is able and who is disabled in the old-fashioned mechanical world. And therefore we have been working in this area, is that what tools we give people, that's how able they can be, and they can be far more able than us. Some of the people whom we think are not able to participate in society fully, turns out that they are far more able than us in many respects. So this is the sort of area that we come from. We came into the health sector very tentatively, not having worked with health data at all, or not having worked on clinical use cases. Some of our community, we have over 8,500 contributors to date of 12 years of running these kinds of labs. Some of our community are clinicians, are neuroscientists, they have been working in health. But we were very modest when we approached this, and then when we realized that it was hugely relevant for the health sector and that we had a great uptake from some of the people who are also now with us in the room. So we felt that it was really important to continue. And Just Data is now part of a new project that you will hear about in a minute, as part of a suite of projects that are being run from Chalmers Industry Technique together with AstraZeneca and all of the big players. We will be scaling Just Data into AI applications for health in the next 3 years. So that's a result of some of these collaborative activities. So that's wonderful. And I just want to end on this because, as I said, I wanted to, Fredrik is sitting with us there. Fredrik, who is sitting right there, you will meet him in a minute, or rather after Jonathan. He did our opening keynote this week, which was an overview of the landscape of AI applications and both the benefits and risks and potential. And I'm so pleased that he was able to stay for this day, just this morning. Then he has to go back. This was a statement that struck me when we established the Knowledge Graph Alliance in Brussels last year. I had come into it by saying, well, sometimes I was doing a sort of one of the opening speeches for our alliance, because I'm president of the Knowledge Graph Alliance. And I said sometimes knowledge about the data could be more valuable than data itself. And then Fredrik and Olivier actually literally stood up in the audience and both said at the same time, no, not sometimes, always. So I think this is quite an important statement that they made there. I think maybe we are here to find out if that is also true for the health sector. So welcome. And what I will do is I will ask Jonathan, who is over here, sorry, to take over and tell us about the fantastic work that he has been doing at Chalmers, at Chalmers Industry Technique and at GoCo, and with all of the basically gathering the whole health sector together. So welcome.
Thank you.